And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Gold Coast Hotel and Casino for the U.S. Amateur Championships. We will have the women's division on our main channel. The men's division will take place, or is taking place, on Channel 2. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Good evening to you. Pleased to be joined by Kaylee Christ, Craig Elliott, and Brian Mano will have the call for you on 31 and 32, which is the men's, again, U.S. Amateur Final. In the women's division, the semifinal match will feature Crystal Elliott, First Team All-American, former Player of the Year, now at Jacksonville State as a graduate transfer, formerly of Nebraska. A former Husker versus a current Husker as Kayla Verstraete is her opponent. Kayla, again, a current Husker, and first of all, she's bowled very well. Both players have. But she's got more bowling to do, as well as Crystal Elliott, because they've got a collegiate event tomorrow that starts. I think they had went over and did the practice session earlier today prior to the women's squad beginning here at 3 p.m. And, of course, your number one seed. Boy, you thought 2023 was a good year for Gianna Brandolino of Canahan, Illinois. But 2024 is starting right where 2023 left off. She finds herself as the top seed for the U.S. Amateur Championship. Of course, there is an adult Team USA spot on the line in both U.S. Amateur Championship matches in both the men and the women's division. The winner, of course, will earn a spot unless your name is Gianna Brandolino. She would not get the spot simply because she is not age eligible for the adult team. She must be 18 years of age to be a part of the adult squad. So we'll go through all the possible scenarios after, of course, or during our matches here. But first, let's get Kaylee involved here in this broadcast. And, Kaylee, we've watched Crystal and Kayla and Gianna, of course, all week long. And I don't think, this is just a guess. I don't have all of the thing about the standings after in front of me, but they seem to be in the top 10. Kayla won a block this week. Throughout. Gianna won a block earlier in the week. And so when you think about it from the amateur perspective, but just as a whole, these three players have had great weeks. What have you seen and what have you liked from all three of these competitors?
Ooh, that's a hard question because I've liked watching them in their own different ways. When it comes to Kayla and Crystal, I look at them almost very in similar ways. They both love this competition, obviously, and they both compete very well. With Kayla, I definitely, how do I word this? The way I like Kayla and the way she plays is that she might not start off super strong, but then she works her way to the top, and I believe that's what she's been doing almost every day along with Crystal, but Kayla's the one that won the one day this week. When it comes to Crystal, she hasn't won a block, but she has been in the top 10, I believe, pretty much every day this week, if not top 15. So she was mainly grinding it out during the week, and I absolutely think that's awesome because this week has been a grind. And if you can stay in top 10 every single day or top 15 every single day, that's great. And of course, we have Gianna Brandolino, who is only, I believe, 16. And so just watching her compete this week, who I haven't seen compete before, to where I've seen Crystal compete before and I've seen Kayla compete before, but I haven't seen Gianna. So this was a first for me. But for her to be 16 and be able to compete with these collegiate level girls, it's pretty cool.
She's been doing it for what seems to be definitely the last year. And now, of course, as we open up 2024, she's part of the class of 2025, speaking of Brandolino. But that stock's rising, I tell you. So the college coaches, she's already been on a few visits. Those college coaches continue to watch and continue to prepare yourself for whoever has the arrival of one Gianna Brandolino. But she has to have an opponent, and we will find that out next. Crystal Elliott chose pattern number 5. So that was today's pattern, a 45-foot lane condition. Looks like Crystal will begin the match. She is the number 2 seed. Again, higher seeds in the U.S. Amateur were able to select which lane condition the players, or their match, of course, will be contested on. And I believe Gianna Brandolino chose pattern or day number 4, round 4's pattern, which was the 43-foot pattern. That will take place on 37 and 38.
I'm very excited to see how this all plays out. I've been in situations where there are step ladders, but for some, like this to me feels way more important than any other step ladder I've been involved in.
Well, there's no doubt. It's a good shot to start by Crystal. She's got a big support system as well. We talked about the collegiate squads and the teams in town to bowl the Storm and Blue and White Classic over at South Point, hosted by Mount St. Mary's. I believe the Jacksonville State squad is here. They've been here for a few hours, rooting on all of their competitors that have been in the field here. The majority of the squad actually bowled. Of course, there were a few players like Isabel Allen, Kayla Covarrubias, who represent different countries in international competition, so they were here to cheer on some of their teammates. Nice opening spare here for Crystal Elliott. Again, 45 feet, 26.8 mils. And Kaylee,
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the task here. Please let the viewership know where each player here in our finals finished on today's pattern.
Yeah, I sure can. Give me 1 second to find it.
Nice shot by Kayla Verstraete.
You want me
Verstraete,
to?
excuse me.
You want me to say where Crystal and Kayla ended both in overall, or just today? Okay. So. Give me a second while I find it.
Four, 6, and you can hear a lot of hand claps because, again, both squads for Crystal and Kayla are in the building. So the Husker squad is also here rooting on Kayla Verstraete.
So, Crystal Elliott actually tied for 16th with Shannon Plahowski. They both had a 1280 for 6 games.
Plus 80 for Crystal Elliott. Stepped out of that one. That would have been a nice accident right there.
Kayla Verstraete finished in 65 with having an 1174 set for 6.
So you wonder if I'd have to go back through from the daily perspective, thinking about Crystal's best performances this week. But without the data, we'll take a look at it, try to do it real quickly here. But yeah, obviously you want the best advantage if you get to choose the pattern.
Right.
And obviously, of course, maybe you think about slightly what your opponent may have struggled on. And Kayla was, I mean, without a doubt, rocking and rolling throughout the week. She did have, of course, a hiccup
Right.
on today's pattern. Here's Crystal. And a little bit of a near bucket, 2-4-5. That one looked like it kind of burned up as it got down lane.
Looking at today's scores, too, from Crystal Elliott in her first 2 games, she did have only a 177 and a 190. So if we're playing on fresh right now, we might see Crystal struggle just a little bit as well, because she did struggle this morning on the fresh.
Ooh. And she will hand an open right back. And so we've got ourselves a tie match here through 2. A good battle of what college bowling certainly is all about. Mentioned both with Husker ties. Elliott now a graduate transfer at Jacksonville State. There are a lot of Nebraska fans I know in the chat, as there always is. She'll try to get it back on 35, and there it is.
That was a great shot by Crystal.
Kayla Verstraete loves Park. That's got to hook a lot. And, of course, in a long pattern, you know that's going to be an OB. As Kaylee, of course, here in the booth just described, a tough day on this pattern for Verstraete. Yeah, I think essentially what we're looking for right now is, if you're Kayla, you know, I'm sure there might be a nerve or two, right? And so she's just trying to make sure she's calm, continue to throw good shots. I feel as though her performance has spoken volumes, in my opinion. And so, of course, there is a spot on Team USA on the line. And so there is that additional, amount of pressure that certainly could sneak into the mental mindset there. But the goal for both of these players, but certainly for Kayla, she knows and can refer back to the performance that she's had this entire week to help hopefully calm herself down and certainly focus in on what has been a little bit of a troublesome pattern, of course, for her. One shot at a time. That's better. Bang. Great shot there. I mean, it does exactly what you would like to see. Got one a little right, threw it out the window in the right lane, throws a much better shot. Elliott looking to be the first player to double in this match. Again, our men's final is on Channel 2. Oh!
Late hit on the 2.
Those are the kind of breaks you need to win a U.S. Amateur Championship. The first player to double, indeed. You start to, put in the back of your mind, Kaylee, is the right lane maybe going to be the one that's ultimately going to decide it? Just heard a teammate tell Crystal capitalize on it. Jacob Boxty, by the way, what a performance that young man had. I believe he is 16. Himself a spot on a junior team and now could potentially come away with the U.S. Amateur Championship. He's facing Julian Salinas. Well, this is a tough pattern. And the thing about it, too, of course, remember, folks, we're on the fresh. Right?
Yeah.
And so we did start to see the scoring pace pick up later in the block today.
Once that lane breakdown happened, it was a lot easier for those girls to break through that front part of the lane, and they were able to find their shot a lot faster.
Oh, and the six reps right around the 10. This one is it's looking like it's going to get to the
It's going to be close.
to the 10th frame. I was going to say a frame ago, maybe the right lane is going to be the one that decides it. I think Crystal just kind of got a couple of to just kind of push through a little too quickly. Golden opportunity here for the current Husker in Verstraete. Got a hook, got a hook. Can't give it away too much on the right lane. We might have to, she may have to slightly parallel, bring that angle, that break point a little further left. Looks like she's throwing something that might have a little shine to it also.
It sure does, which is also interesting because a lot of girls this morning didn't have shine to their bowling balls. They were using very more solid coating, right?
Some additional surface.
Yeah, a surface. That is the correct word.
You can see it both, right? What Crystal Elliott is doing from a bowling ball perspective. She's clearly got some surface. In fact, with a couple minutes left in practice, she was, finalizing the surface adjustment she was going to make for this match. And so you have the opposites there. One player using surface, the other with something that looks to be shine. It could just be lane shine after so many games, certainly this week.
Yeah.
After the open, of course, in the split, can she come with it again on the left lane?
That's the second time she's left that 2-pin. So I think she may need to make a slight adjustment on both lanes. It hasn't been just one.
Can't get an eye on what the piece of equipment that Kayla is indeed using. Again, folks, Gianna Brandolino is your #1 seed. She will be in the championship match. She will face the winner between Crystal Elliott and Kayla Verstraete. This one has gone back and forth. Neither player, or excuse me, the first player and the only player to double has been Crystal Elliott, although she was unable to back that up at the PBA washout in the 5th, super washout, and unable to convert. 2 opens for Elliott. 2 opens as well for Kayla. 2 splits for Verstraete. Crystal missed the 2-4-5, chopped the 2-4-5 in frame 2, and of course the super washout in frame 5. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We will have the announcements of our Team USA squads, both adult and junior teams, about 15 to 20 minutes after the conclusion of our Stepladder finals. Great shot, best in the match. And I thought that one, Kaylee, pretty simple. She did not allow the bowling ball to get wide right down lane.
Yeah, no, she looked pretty confident in that shot when she let it go. Hopefully she can make an adjustment on this left lane too, since I believe they're playing, both lanes are playing very similar. So I don't think she's going to have to, compare and contrast. Do I need to play different for each lane?
Big shot coming up here for Elliott. That's got a chance. That was a very good shot. 2 very good shots in a row.
Yeah.
For Crystal Elliott. Hope Gramley is watching. We appreciate you, Hope. Another good week for Hope here. All right, spare handle. All right, Kaylee, take me into the mindset here of the player, right? If this is you out here, you've gone 6 frames with Kayla right now. Couple splits, just gotten a couple right, especially on the right lane. How would you be, what would your mental mindset be right now?
Right now, I would definitely be focusing on what I need to do next in my next shot. I would definitely just want to take this step ladder and do it by each shot that I am going to throw. You don't want to think too far ahead. You want to be able to stay present. That way you can make great shots and make sure that you're not getting ahead of the game. If you get too far ahead of the game, you might put yourself into a mental space that might freak you out a little bit or make you nervous, and you don't want to do that to yourself. So personally, I would be thinking about what do I need to do this next shot to make sure that I can make a great one.
Hook a little. Hook a little. Eighth frame coming up, folks. We have got ourselves a 6-pin match.
I also would not try focusing too much on what your opponent is doing, because that might also put you in like a freak out mode. Like if they make a great shot, they're like, you're gonna think, oh no, but you don't want to do that, because you need to make sure that you're just controlling what you can control. You can't control what your opponent's going to do.
It's hard to, in some cases, for Kayla too, to decipher if she got out of it cleanly and she thought that was a good shot, or if it really is just the bowling ball. Not grabbing the lane, not seeing the mid lane, and just continuing to kind of float through the front part of the lane.
Right.
Get some help. At this stage in the match, that felt like a must-make situation right there for Verstraete, the 2-time All-American at Nebraska. She's a second-team selection in 2021, third team in 2022. A freshman and a second-team All-American. Now in her senior season at Nebraska.
I was about to ask that. She is senior this year.
2-time state champion in Illinois. On the U.S. Singles Championship as well. All-freshman squad. And Crystal Elliott has very similar accolades at both, at Nebraska, of course. And you might conclude that at the end of the season this year, she might have some similar accolades for Jacksonville State. 2021 NTCA Bowler of the Year and a 2-time first-team All-American. This is Crystal Elliott. 8th frame. Oh, and the pin action prevails in the 8th for Elliott. Verstraete max score 178. With that strike now, Elliott, if she were to go spare strike spare, she'd be looking at 179. Of course, her max right now stands at 209. Folks, if you are, I'll be honest, if you're trying to, if you're chatting or throwing some stuff out there, it's difficult for me to see because everyone is on the same network, and so some things are a little slow to update on my screen. So if you're trying to interact, I apologize. Oh, if Crystal doubles here, I mean, it's going to take at least the next 3 from Kayla, I'm thinking. And that might be enough.
Yeah. She did make a really great adjustment on that lane, just like she needed to.
So now it's going to be up to Kayla to put some pressure, of course, on Crystal at this point.
Right.
She needs to have them all. Got to start here. Did not like it. And at this point, it's just going to be about keeping it on the lane for Crystal Elliott. As Gianna Brandolino down on, looks like 21 and 22, taking her final warm-up shots prior to coming over to the what is going to be her championship pair on 37 and 38. We're going to take a small break after the conclusion of our semifinal. We'll just need to turn the camera, readjust a scoreboard or two, and then we'll be right back at it. We will not be going or shutting down the stream as Verstraete makes the spare. Over the men's semifinal, Julian Salinas, the All-American from SCAD Savannah, Will Best, Jacob Boxty, but what a week for young Jacob. I believe I saw Danny Wiseman make a nice post about Jacob as a name to a player to keep an eye on. And
for sure.
He certainly let the good folks know in the bowling world about what he was about here this week at Team USA trials.
He's only been bowling for 4 years.
Well, that's even more impressive. That's right. You mentioned that in your interview that you worked with. Absolutely. Verstraete. And a 7-pin, of course. But again, thinking about the week that Kayla has put together, she finished 9th in the overall standings here at Team USA trials, which included 3 top 10 finishes, 2 top 5 finishes. She finished 7th on day 1, 5th on day 2, and then 1 day 3. And then the last 2 days, she slid back to the field a little bit, 47th and 65th respectively. But Kaylee, when we talked earlier this week, I said, obviously it's about automatic selections. But if you do happen to miss out on an auto spot, your goal at that point is hopefully you've done enough to make the decision hard on the National Selection Committee. And I think Kayla Verstraete has done that this week.
For sure. I mean, she had first 3 days here were pretty great. It's hard the way this tournament works to be within the top 10 for 3 days in a row. I mean, Shannon Plahowski made it look easy, but
she has a tendency to do that.
But she definitely made the committee look at her. Like, she stands out, and there's no doubt for that.
So now it's going to be up to the selection committee if one Kayla Verstraete is to make Team USA. But Crystal Elliott, well, her future regarding that has already been decided. She's already got an automatic spot, along with Shannon Plahowski, Brianna Cote. Elliott finished 4th in the overall standings. She would have gotten a spot either way because the top 4 in the overall standings receive auto bids. And then, of course, Lauren Russo, who finished 5th, also earned an automatic spot. The reasoning for that, Gianna Brandolino, who is currently on Junior Team USA for 2024. She is not age eligible for the adult team. She has to be 18. She is 16. And so that spot then goes down to Lauren Russo. Now, interesting situation that could unfold as Crystal Elliott now 4 in a row. If Gianna Brandolino wins the championship, the U.S. Amateur, she would not be able to obviously take the spot that is attached to the U.S. Amateur champion for the adult team. That spot generally would go back into the overall standings, and the next player up would earn that spot.
Okay.
In this case, there is a tie for 6th between, I've never seen that before, actually. At least in a spot where there's an auto bid essentially on the line.
Right.
A final score 208 to 158. And so from what I saw and I looked at the rules, all ties are broken. .208 to 157. Beg your pardon. Thank you, Kaylee. But from what I saw in the rules, all ties are broken by total pinfall.
Interesting. Okay.
So by that logic, Brianna Andrew would have the spot if Gianna Brandolino wins, because Brianna Andrew edged Hope Gramley by 5 pins in total pinfall.
Wow. Okay.
That is what I have, and I'm basing that on the rules. So I'll try to get further confirmation on that prior to. Right now, make a quick change over to 37 and 38. The lanes are already oiled. Brandolino Elliott next for the U.S. Amateur Women's Championship on Bowl TV. All right, folks. Looks like I missed some things in the chat. But Melanie McDaniel or Ryan, one or the other. Looks like Melanie has handled a lot of the information that is necessary. Appreciate you, Mel. I will go through some things just in case also, but it's a relatively simple situation. Crystal Elliott has already earned a spot on the adult team. So, I mean, we're already in that point where Brianna Andrew, you don't want to call it without confirmation. It's like, election day, right? It's an election year. We don't want to call it yet. As Crystal Elliott seeing some trouble here. New pattern. Day number 4, round 4's pattern. 43 feet. 23.04 mils. The top seed, Gianna Brandolino, chose this pattern. And the first open belongs to Crystal Elliott. And now Gianna Brandolino, the reigning U18 Girls Junior Gold Champion. Just a dynamite year. Part of Junior Team USA for 2024 as well as 2023. Went to Peru with the squad, helped lead them to some gold. She finished runner-up in a PWBA regional. Tons of Elite Youth Tour titles, SYC titles. If there's a title involved, she probably won it in 2023, speaking of Brandolino. We had some people ask us, which is a good question, is G working with a washout here. By the way, folks, just in case, again, you're watching the U.S. Amateur Championship Women's Division here on Bowl TV. My name is Emil Williams Jr., joined by Kaylee Christ. The men's final is currently being contested on Channel 2. It features top seed Austin Grammer. I believe Austin won the day, too, on particularly day 5, but he chose day 5's pattern, of course, because he owned it. He went more than 200 over today.
Makes sense.
Young man who competes at Weber. So that's a Weber versus SCAD in the men's final, as Julian Salinas is his opponent. We'll see Brandolino's shot, and then Kaylee will walk us through Gianna's finishes by the day this week. G. Dang.
There she goes. All right, so for this week, Gianna had 4 top 10 appearances. Day 1, she was 5th. Day 2, she won the block. She was in 1st. Day 3, she had a little setback, was 51. Day 4, she came back and got 7th. And then today, she came in 10th. So overall, she had, between the 3 that were in the stepladder, she had the best showing.
You could make a case, of course, besides the first 2 competitors and the champion, certainly Shannon Puhalski, that Gianna maybe had the best week overall. You can make a case for that. Obviously, she didn't win.
Right.
But when you look at that cumulative situation there, certainly regarding the points, obviously, it's not a coincidence or a fluke that she finished 3rd. She can bowl. She's not even in, or out of high school yet. Again, you colleges out there looking for your class in 2025.
Has she made a decision?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But I know she has been on several visits to this point. Back-to-back splits to start for Crystal Elliott. Oh, that's got a chance. Oh, from my angle.
I thought she had it for a second.
Well, you look at what Crystal is kind of had to do, right? So on the pattern that she preferred, still had a lot of surface, but minus getting the ball right. She was in the 1-3 for the most part. The occasional couple shots that she got right. Already we've seen a little bit more hook, right? This pattern is 2 feet shorter.
2 feet shorter than day 5.
Correct.
Okay.
2 feet shorter than day 5. It's also about 3 milliliters less regarding volume.
Gotcha.
You see where, obviously Gianna is playing. And now Crystal trying to find that proper spot. And again, she finished 51st. Crystal did on day 4. And so that was her worst finish of the week so far. And she's just trying to figure out what's going to work well. 2-4-10, that is 3 consecutive splits. So for G, right, I think a little bit of defense, right? And same thing with Crystal when we're talking about Kayla and their match. Gianna wins day 2, but she didn't choose that pattern. She chose the pattern that her opponent had the worst finish. Pretty smart idea of when you're thinking about strategy.
Right.
Excellent spare.
Nice pickup.
And that might get the All-American going right there. Hello, Jeffrey. Appreciate you tuning in. That's right. G, yeah, she had a New Year's Eve birthday, I think, or somewhere around that time. So she just turned 17. Now, I will say this. We had several players and a couple individuals I feel like who know, what they're talking about. Let us know that they thought 37-38, at least of the pairs that we have been covering, like 35 through 38, where we had a chance to see every day, was the worst of the 2. And so,
of these 2?
Yes, between 35 and 36, it was said by multiple people that 37-38 played the roughest, if you will.
I have noticed, now looking back on every day and seeing the difference between the 2, I definitely think that more people struggled on 37 and 38, and I've noticed that those lanes compared to these ones, they also play a little bit tighter.
No, it's no doubt. I mean, and throughout the week, players have had their topography charts out and taking a look and, viewing that info and using it to the best of their abilities. But we had several players. The first thing actually that Craig told me when I arrived, so I got here a couple days or one day into the tournament, that 37-38 is a little weirder than 35 and 36. We could be seeing that potentially at the start of this match. Brandolino. Wow.
Ooh.
And I think she likes the left lane. And so when you miss your good lane, it can be a struggle.
She even turned around and was like, what happened?
Hello, Matthew Jones. Appreciate you, Rick. Hey, Stephanie. That might be Steph J right there. I only know one Stephanie on Earth who spells her name with an F, and it's Stephanie Johnson. So I think she's in the chat. Hi, Steph. Julian Salinas over on 34 again, men's final, Channel 2. Stephanie knows all about Team USA trials and the Team USA program. 18 years she spent with Team USA. Oh, that's got a chance. Wow. Takes the 7 right off. And Crystal Elliott is in this match, Kaylee.
Yeah, it's back to being close now. I definitely think that if Crystal were to strike right now, this would definitely put some more pressure on Gianna and her needing to make a good shot in this 5th frame. Because now, looking at the score so far, Gianna has 3 opens and only 1 strike. Where Crystal is about to throw in the 4th frame. but she does have 2 opens in frame 1 and 2 and only a spare in the third.
Big shot here for Elliott. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a great sign, in fact. Although that did not strike. Leaving a 9-pin in this situation for Crystal Elliott is a big deal, considering some of the things that she's recently left, right? She's made another ball change. From here, it looks like a summit. Unsure, but looks like one. Gianna represents motive.
I definitely think, even though this is not a strike for Crystal, making the spare does put more pressure on Gianna. Because Crystal just made a great shot. And Gianna should know that. And know that her now going in, like Crystal going into the 5th frame, she knows what she wants to do.
You know, Crystal's too good of a player, right, to not make moves.
Right.
And so when she saw things obviously that she did not like, able to make a huge spare, which, you know, we go back, depending on how this match unfolds, if we go back and look at the 3rd frame, the split conversion, what could be a lower scoring match, that could end up being the difference. If she can find the 1-3 here, I think she will be where she needs to be mentally. Get up the hill. All right.
That was still a good shot.
My guess is, Kaylee, she's probably going to stay in that bowling ball.
Probably.
Thank you for watching, Alexander. Always a pleasure to see you in the chat. I know you are a famed Nebraska supporter. Shout out to Deandra Asbeatty, another player with historical Team USA ties, and has bred and created a tour, the Elite Youth Tour, to allow players like Gianna Brandolino to showcase their talents and take advantage of their skills.
Now, Crystal has made 3 spares in a row. She hasn't struck this game. And Gianna has, but she also has 3 opens. So, do you think if Gianna strikes here, that's going to put pressure on Crystal? Or
you know, to be honest, I would say no, only because the last 2 shots from Crystal, I think, is what she's been looking for.
Okay.
Right? She's got a better ball reaction, better ball motion.
Yeah.
And so, in a way, that's kind of flipped now, where it's G who's had obviously left some splits. The right lane has been troublesome. Can her ball get up the hill? Great shot.
Great shot.
She might have made a ball change. That one looked a little bit different going down the lane.
I think so. I feel like the last ball that she had was a little bit more green, I think.
Yeah, I think she made a ball change. And in this situation, for G at least, it may have been balled up. No, that's what it is. So she's using 1 ball on each lane. Patrick Martinez is checking things out. He's got a busy week ahead, I think. Wichita Players Championship, I think, maybe. Got a good one brewing, folks, in the men's final. Selena's advantage over Austin Grammer at the moment. It's an 8-pin advantage. Brandolino, 5-pin goes, and on the left lane, that ball just slightly labored down lane, Kaylee.
I feel like it didn't quite get to where she wanted it to go, which is why that 7-pin is still standing.
It is the start of the PBA Tour, folks, on Bowl TV, so big week still. We've got the Storm and Blue and White Collegiate Classic. That's an NCAA event hosted by Mount St. Mary's. They'll be just 15 minutes away at South Point Bowling Plaza. Crystal Elliott will be there, as will myself and Kaylee Christ, along with Courtney Ermish. And then, of course, the beginning of the 2024 PBA Tour season with the Players' Championship. All of that and more this week on Bowl TV.
I would love to see Crystal strike right here.
I think she would, too. That one looked a little quick. Maybe a touch firm on the ball speed there. Didn't quite see the lane where it needed to see it. The good news, it's certainly makeable. Choppable, but makeable.
Yes. But I have seen her throw this already this week, I feel like.
248?
Yeah. And I feel like the way she hits it, she has a good way of throwing at it. Not the way I thought she was going to do it, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't know if that one would classify as good, but it looked like it was going to go maybe smooth sailing past the 2-pin there and not clip the 8. But listen, the ball does the job. She is still yet to strike. Could it happen in the 7th frame? I want to thank Craig Elliott, Brian Mano, Jason Thomas, Kaylee Christ, Caleb Smiley, Donovan Graubaugh, Gene Koenig. A lot of folks.
And ball needs work.
Nicely done there for Elliott.
First strike of the game.
And that felt like a must-have in some regard, but in a way not really, just because G hasn't quite found what she's looking for yet either. But I want to thank all of those individuals, including the tournament staff here at Team USA Trials. Of course, Gary Brown, Chipper Key, Robin Key, Brandy Silva, Jerry McCormick, so many people. A lot of great staffers and volunteers this week to help crown the next wave of Team USA athletes here in 2024. We know several of them by auto bids. We will find out who else was selected. The Team USA announcement show coming up next. Big shot here for Brandolino.
Ooh.
And nearly a 7-10, a little lazy.
That 7 was a late fall.
Again, going back to our conversation about where this Team USA spot is going to go, because Crystal Elliott earned an automatic spot, it's the same situation. That spot, if Crystal wins, and or if Gianna wins at this point, the reasonings are different. If Gianna wins, she doesn't get the spot because she's not 18 years of age in the adult team. If Crystal wins, she already has a spot via the automatic spots by her performance here at Team Trials this week. And so the spot will go down. And again, from what I'm seeing, all ties broken by total pinfall. That would be Brianna Andrew. Uh-oh.
Ooh. That's a hard miss on that spare. You definitely need to. We're at the point in the match now where every pin counts. And that was a must-make spare for her.
Well, that brings that max score for G now down to 183. Again, it's been the tale of really the first 4 frames to a degree. Crystal Elliott leaves 3 consecutive splits, makes the one in the third if it's 2-4-10. Gianna opened in the first, looked pretty good in the left lane in frame number 2. And then back-to-back opens, a split in the 4th. And now miss makeable, miss single pin in the 7th. And obviously not a lot of frames left to work with. So G in must-strike territory. Again, considering that the last few shots from Crystal Elliott have been much better. Ball motion, ball read, etc. Got to get up the hill.
just didn't quite get there again. And that was, it kind of looked almost like that same shot that she had just thrown in frame 6 on 37.
Yeah, when she came back too, just that motion of her hand at the bottom too, maybe not quite getting it.
Yeah.
But continue.
I lost my train of thought.
My bad.
It's okay. Mila's working on getting that. There we go. All right. Alrighty, Crystal shot. Great shot. That's exactly what she has been looking for, and that makes the first double of the game.
What? I tell you, there's never a dull moment. The lens cap, folks, just randomly decided to close. I can't make this up. I can't. What I can't make up, though, a big shot from Crystal Elliott.
That was a great shot.
This could be the game changer. Oh, that might be
late
it.
hit on the 9. That was a great messenger right there.
That might be it, Kaylee.
I think so too. I mean,
173 is remaining. The hand claps right now belong to Julian Salinas. He has wrapped up his match with Austin Grammer and is the 2024 U.S. Amateur Champion.
And that's the shot that Gianna has been looking for all game.
Got to finish strong. And listen, you know, we all see crazy things in bowling, but you got to admire the patience, I think, for Crystal Elliott. Like, you know, the tough start, but she didn't panic. And that's important. That's a great sign, obviously, of a very good to great competitor.
Yeah.
She did not panic and therefore went through what she knows to go through from an arsenal perspective. Which ball do I need? Which ball needs to that I have that can see the lane a little bit quicker?
And it looks like she did make a ball change right there.
Yep, went to the same ball. What looked to be perhaps a pride. Thanks to Ryan and Melanie for that. And with that non-strike, Crystal Elliott just the formalities away from being the U.S. Amateur Champion for the year 2024. Great week by Austin Grammer. Again, he won the day. Austin Grammer. Shout out to Weber International University. Well, for Gianna Brandolino, folks, she's just 17 years old. This is not going to be the last time you see her in moments like this. She's already been in moments like this. So still learning, still laying the foundation.
And you know what? College bowling, wherever she chooses to go, is just going to take her that step further. I believe that her game is going to be even better in the years to come when she finally reaches her college bowling experience.
A little bit of a victory lap here for Crystal Elliott, the former Husker, current Jacksonville State Gamecock, and now already part of the adult team. She is going to officially now take home the 2024 U.S. Amateur Championship. She's going to it's going to be a fun ceremony. She'll be up on that stage twice tonight to receive the U.S. Amateur Trophy as well as that official recognition as a Team USA member. Team USA announcement is coming up next. Give us about, I would say 15 minutes or so. Oh.
Ooh, that would have been great to see.
Crystal Elliott, 175. Gianna Brandolino, 152. Crystal Elliott, the women's U.S. Amateur champion. Julian Salinas, the men's U.S. Amateur champion. Kaylee, final thoughts?
I am very happy that Crystal is able to take home this amateur. But I'm also really glad to see that Gianna in the finals as well. And if I were Gianna in this position, I would not be upset with the way that I performed at all this week or even in this matchup. And in fact, I would be looking forward to what more can I accomplish in the next few years to come.
Without a doubt. The future certainly is bright, folks, as you all know. In bowling, certainly men's bowling and certainly women's bowling. But it's Crystal Elliott's time, as she is the 2024 Women's U.S. Amateur Champion. So, folks, again, we got about 15 minutes or so, a couple of final items to handle for the Team USA announcement. We'll be live and live right on the main channel. Kaylee will be part of that, of course, along with Craig, myself, Curtis. We all have some roles. I'll be naming some names, reading some names. Kaylee, Craig will be providing all of the visuals for you as well. So, Kaylee,
yes,
we got one more thing left to do tonight, so let's go and do that.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, folks, so for Craig Elliott, Brian Mano, Kaylee Christ, Curtis Von Kruger, Caleb Smiley, and our entire crew and staff, my name is Emil Williams Jr. The Team USA announcements next.